due to the internet.
So I feel like I am the Mohawk king of the world.
Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And I'm Joe Chiro, Fox News.
An innovative new smartphone app funded by the GOP is set to streamline voter discrimination in key swing states. With more on this fascinating story, we go to Jason Copeland.
Well, thanks, Andrea. You know, a new election means a new set of racist voting laws in battleground states, causing long delays and chaos at the polls. But does it have to be so cumbersome? This year, the exciting new Vote Right app aims to help minorities avoid the hassle by stripping away their vote right in the palm of their hands. The Vote Right app is incredibly user-friendly. When you register, you first enter a set of personal information and take a photo of your skin. Vote Right immediately makes rash generalizations about you, and these are just some of Vote Right's intuitive new features. Real-time updates on the bullshit red tape preventing you from registering, and even a video of a condescending white woman who will scream at you from the phone rather than in person at the polling station.
This isn't a food stamp line, sir. You need ID.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and welcome to the program. You, as always, are free to take control of the airwaves here. Bring up whatever is on your mind. The number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
I am Groot.
And I am Mark.
We are going to talk about the right to party, which I'm sorry to say,
the Beastie Boys fought for that.
People these days are not fighting for.
I actually, we were talking about this pre-show, and no, the Beastie Boys did not, contrary to popular opinion, fight for your right to party. They did, however, write a song saying that you gotta fight for your right to party.
They're right.
And apparently people have failed at doing so, and the right to party has now been infringed upon.
At least in some places. We have done a good job here, I believe, in Keene, New Hampshire, where we're doing this show. We were out last night.
We were just partying last night.
That's correct. We were throwing a party, as we've now done for, I believe, 25 weeks in a row.
25 weeks.
And that was begun when His Excellency, the incumbent governor here,
Governor Snoo,
put out an order saying, you shall not gather together with other human beings. That happened earlier this year. So we decided we were going to go ahead and gather in public. Not some, college party hiding in the shadows or whatever, which there's a story about colleges cracking down, and that's been happening. But so not just that, but just right out there in front, in downtown Keene. We've been having a great time at it, meeting new people every night. There was a corrections officer who came out and hung out with us for at least an hour and a half, I think.
Getting to know the new clients.
He's prospecting.
It was great. He was really cool. And so we've met all kinds of people from the area that have come through, and it's been great. But unfortunately, in some places, you might go to jail for doing something like that. In Los Angeles, the AP reporting that TikTok celebrities Bryce Hall and Blake Gray are facing
TikTok
charges.
Celebrities. Like, there's got to be in air quotes. Right? Come on.
Laugh it up, buddy. I don't know who these guys are, but I bet if you go on their TikTok profiles, they probably have more followers than we have listeners.
Yeah, well, I somehow it doesn't hurt me.
Oh, I don't think it's supposed to hurt you. I'm just pointing out, like, in this new media age, it doesn't take a whole lot to get to apparently 100,000 or 1 million followers or whatever. You just make some dumb 15-second videos and you're a celebrity.
Once you, it's when you get the followers on the platform, they're still the platform's customers, not yours.
That's true. Yeah, you don't own
You're
them.
a content generator for this platform.
Correct.
In some cases, you're paid, but in some cases, you're not. We had, was it 19 million views on a post? We had post views per week on Facebook some years ago.
What did it measure up to?
What do we get?
Yeah.
0. Nothing. We absolutely got nothing.
Right.
And that's the point.
Well, you got the prestige.
Right, yeah.
Well, it looks like
they didn't
something.
even send me a plaque to put on my wall. I don't know if I had to hit 20 million post views in a week to get the plaque, but we didn't get one.
Well, it appears that you got something. It appears as though you got attention, but that wasn't parlayed into anything useful.
It didn't even turn into downloads for the show.
You didn't notice any noticeable difference in downloads around that time frame. Right, and you watch these things.
Yeah, I would appreciate downloads, and I certainly didn't get them.
So, but that said, they have people that watch their stuff, and they also threw parties allegedly in Hollywood Hills, despite the city's ban on large gatherings during the coronavirus pandemic. The Los Angeles City Attorney's Office have filed misdemeanor charges against both men. They
still file misdemeanor charges? I wouldn't even think that you could get a prosecutor to take that kind of time.
Well,
I mean, there's so many felonies going on.
Are there? I imagine there are, but regardless, they've got to send a message here, Mark. They can't
you don't
just
send
have
a message with a misdemeanor.
Yeah, I think you do. I think your typical person probably doesn't want to spend a year in jail, and that is usually the penalty for...
It would surprise me. I assume these are younger people. It would surprise me if they really know the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony.
Well, I would hope that young people know the difference, but either way, jail's a scary place, especially in California. I'm sure they don't have the keen spiritual retreat like we do here, where the jail's actually run by somewhat decent people, it seems like, all things considered.
I mean, the threat of the state is very real, regardless of the level of which they're filing against you, right? Whether it's misdemeanor or felony. The threat of the state and their violence, the threat that if you don't comply with whatever hoops they want you to jump through and, whatever sort of dance they want you to do, if you don't comply, is very real. They will show up with men who want to throw you in a cage if you don't comply, and if you resist those men, they do purport the authority to end your life.
Right, and I mean, here you can see the sort of the arbitrariness and capriciousness of the state on display, in so much as in California, if you have a house party, we'll file misdemeanor charges against you.
Because COVID.
But if you do it in pretty much any place else in the United States.
Nebraska.
Oh, I wouldn't. That's not legal advice.
No,
they've been cracking down on parties in New York, from what I understand, too.
Yeah, well, it's admittedly it's New York.
Yeah.
If you pick your state, but I'll bet you I can pick just by the charge. I bet you can tell you the state in a lot of cases, or at least get you in within 3 states, meaning New York, Illinois, California, New Jersey.
Terrible news from Jersey.
There's some awful places out there.
So, in this case, the 2 TikTokers who have millions of followers, according to the story, share a home and allegedly held 2 parties less than a week apart.
Oh my gosh.
City attorney Mike Fuhr says he's not aware of any...
Is it the Fuhrer?
I'm sorry, what?
It's spelled F-E-U-E-R. Fuhr.
Are you sure it's Mike and not mine?
Yeah.
Der
Fuhrer. Said he's not aware of any COVID-19 cases that have been linked to the August 8th and 9th, or rather 14th house parties.
What difference does that make?
But the 2-week period for symptoms to appear has not passed. Los Angeles police responded to both parties, which featured several hundred guests, and issued citations. Quote, if you have a combined 19 million followers on TikTok in the middle of a public health crisis, you should be modeling great behavior, best practices for all of us, rather than brazenly violating the law and posting videos about it, the prosecutor said.
What was that basketball player that's like, I'm not your hero? I can't remember what his name was.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good point, though.
Yep.
Hall and Gray are accused of violating the city's pandemic health order and party house ordinance. Penalties include a year in jail and up to $2,000 in fines.
They have a party house ordinance.
Sure.
Charles Barkley was his name.
A lot of places have that. I remember when I was in Florida, there was an ordinance, I think, called open house party that they could charge you with. So you could have a party at your home. It just wasn't allowed to be a, quote, open house party. And I'm not sure exactly what the definition of that means. Does that mean the front door is open at all times? People can kind of come and go without like a bouncer or a passcode? I don't know, but that was a law.
That sounds to me like they're just limiting the number of people that can come in if you're trying to sell the place and having an open house.
Yeah. So the mayor last week authorized the city to shut off water and power to the home, Despite several warnings, this house has turned into a nightclub in the hills, the mayor said.
That is a war crime.
Oh, my God.
When you say, oh, yeah, shutting off water and power, I mean, but that just goes to show you the level of control that these government goons are willing to exercise.
Yeah, this is the reason you don't want the municipality controlling power and water.
Mm-hmm. If you want to comment here, you're welcome to join us. Maybe you think these parties should be cracked down upon. We'd love to hear from you. The number's 855-450-FREE. The mayor says that with bars closed, large house parties can become super spreaders of COVID-19.
Not that we have any evidence that happened.
Right.
But we're upset.
Or that we have any real evidence that COVID-19 is in any significant way a danger to most people. Because it's not.
It could be, and it could happen.
Garcetti's action followed an August 3rd party at a different home where hundreds of people gathered without masks or social distancing.
I'm curious if the cops who were dispatched to these parties wore masks as they were writing the citations.
That's a good question. I suspect, from some of the video I've seen coming out of California, they do wear masks.
I should hope when they arrive that somebody offered them a drink.
Thankfully, here, we don't see that happening. We don't see the officers here in Keene wearing masks. At least I have not seen that, thank goodness. The toll-free, and rumor has it some number of them are vehemently against the masks.
Whoa.
Now, that may be because they're police and they want to easily identify people, but regardless, I share that particular belief.
Surprising.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
News from news.bitcoin.com. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for new blockchain voting method. Warren Buffett changes his opinion on gold. Maybe Bitcoin is next. $6 billion Akon cryptocurrency city underway. Former Prudential CEO says now's the time to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies. Getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Subscribe to Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel too.
Bear, the rescue dog, had very flaky skin, dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections. I was at a dead end.
DINOVITE.com.
Probably 6 weeks after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch. It was awesome.
You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days.
DINOVITE.com.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to DivvyProject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from DivvyProject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. DivvyProject.org. DIVI Project.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live listen line, 641-793-0191. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Couple guys threw some parties in Hollywood Hills in California, and now they're facing up to a year in jail, up to $2,000 fines for misdemeanor charges for violating the COVID rules amongst this alleged pandemic.
$2,000 or a year in jail, I assume, per
I think it may
offense.
be both. It could be both. So
but per offense as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. So if you want to join us, toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. And if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know that people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. So, you know, Mark, you had suggested that this was a California thing, but earlier this week we were also talking about the colleges that are cracking down on parties. That's happening all over the place. So they're actually going college safety officers, so the college cops, which aren't the same thing as like the regular cops, are now able to go off campus and bust up parties that are happening at off-campus housing as well. So they've been doing that.
That seems wrong.
There's a lot of this stuff happening, a lot of shaming, of course, going on of the organizers and the attendees at these parties. And so it's just really sad. It's sad to see this happening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a bit of a difference if you sign up to go to college and, you know, their rules are you're not allowed to have a party, and you sign on the dotted line and say, yeah, whatever, just let me go to college. I mean, you've signed a contract at that point. Now, I'm not saying that I wouldn't participate, but I understand that at that point I'm violating a contract. I have entered into a private governance situation, and I am willingly and probably with forethought, throwing a party against their rules.
Right. So then the repercussion at that point should be, okay, you're no longer allowed to go to this college, not we're going to send the agents of the state to your door, issue you a misdemeanor, and you're going to face $2,000 fine and a year in jail per offense.
That's a different we're talking about different situations now.
Okay.
Ian had mentioned college students having college cops coming to their parties that were not at the college. And, that's... I understand why you don't like the idea of that, because if a college cop showed up at your house while you were having a party, you'd be pretty grumpy. But you didn't sign a piece of paper like the college student did.
Well, somebody would argue that the guys in Hollywood Hills, they essentially signed an agreement when they moved there. They agreed to obey by all the government edicts and ordinances and statutes and
I think there's an argument for it, sure. I mean, if you go to a place and, like, for instance, California, rated number 49 on Freedom of the 50 States, is the second to least freest state, and they may have actually moved to 48th this year. But anyway, not exactly paradise.
Well, I mean,
from a human freedom standpoint.
It sounds like you're bringing up the social contract as an actual argument.
I don't think I am
There's no
bringing
argument there. It's total fantasy.
No, you. Here's the reality. Okay, the reality is that organizations calling themselves government,
criminal gangs,
right?
Criminal enterprise.
All right, criminal enterprises calling themselves governments rule nearly all of the land on the globe.
Sure.
And when you choose to go to one particular place, you're more or less likely to be in the crosshairs of this criminal gang. So, for instance, if you go to North Korea and you do some crazy antics, you may end up dead, like that one kid did a couple of years ago. It's sad.
Yep.
I don't support it. You won't find me defending North Korea, but I will say that there's some places that are better to go than others. California has this lure, and people have to kind of come to grips with it. On one hand, it's got this, hey, the movie stars, and this is how life is supposed to be, and the weather's pretty good and all that. On the other hand, we're one of the least free places in the world, and saltwater intrusions 25 miles into the water table. I mean, people weren't meant to live there in the numbers that they do, and it's shedding people for a reason.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, certainly you got to know when you go to a place what gang is there, the city of fill in the blank, and what it is that they will likely do to you. So being aware of that is a smart thing. But you're not saying that you agreed to anything when you moved to the place. That's the social contract theory, and that's BS.
In some cases, you do. So, for instance,
only if you join like a deed-restricted neighborhood,
or
an HOA or something.
Yeah.
If you go to, let's say, you change countries, and you want to become a resident, an official resident of a country, you will
then you're agreeing to something.
You will actually sign a piece of paper that says that you'll obey all the laws.
Yeah, if you want to go through naturalization or something.
No one could possibly know all the laws, but whatever, you'll sign a piece of paper like that. So these sorts of things do exist. You can pick up and move from one location to another location and then end up agreeing to something. Now, is that contract valid? I tend to think not, because who could possibly know all these? Wait. This says I know all the laws.
Well, I can tell you, it's never happened to me. I've never had anyone put anything in front of me about signing some sort of agreement.
You've only lived in the United States.
I know. I'm just saying, for most people, they don't go through that process.
Sure.
There is not a presentation of what the rules are in any given place, and it's all arbitrary anyway. So if you move to that place, and you know what the rules were, let's say you did actually look at them, or try to look at them, because again, how could anyone sit down and actually read through the laws in Los Angeles, let alone all of California or whatever?
Try to read one page.
Yeah, you'll want to blow your brains out. Unless you're that kind of person. Most people can't handle it. It's like reading a foreign language, and it basically is. So
you wish it was that. In a foreign language, you can dismiss it because you don't understand it. However, with legalese, you don't even
understand
know
it. It is a foreign language.
And they're not saying anything.
The words can be defined differently within legalese. They look like they're English, but they're actually a special language written by and for attorneys called legalese. So no one has ever presented me with such an agreement, nor would I want to put my name on that line if I was presented with it. But if I was forced to, well, then that's being done against my will. And so things like driver's licenses are what some people will point to. Oh, you got a driver's license. You agreed to the government. Like, well, no, that's done under duress, okay? So the only reason I got a license is because I know there are men with guns out there who will put me in a cage if they catch me driving around without one of those things.
So you're dancing around the issue. The state, or whatever government we're talking, whatever group of people calling themselves the government we're talking about, it claims all of the land. It claims it. Like they say you own property, and that is BS.
Sure.
It's a fantasy, because if you own property, stop paying your property taxes and see what happens.
Sure.
You'll figure out real quick you're a renter. And secondly, they also the United States government, in the form of an income tax, claims your labor. If you can claim someone's labor, you claim their body. They have the entire globe and all the hairless monkeys on it. Plus, they license your dog.
Well, the reason they have it is because that seems to be what people want. It seems that people do want to be told what to do. It seems that people do not want to be free. Maybe they want freedom, but
some of them certainly do. But I think more than being told what to do, they want to tell other people what to do.
Yes. Yep. And so therefore, they think government's totally fine, and they're happy with fighting over it and having the two sides fight forever for our entire lives and beyond. And pointless conflict that seemingly never ends. 855-450, freeze the toll-free number. You can join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live's live Saturday show.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply. Only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch? Out of pocket means you're on your own dime, not yet reimbursed. And if anyone ever asks, why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and we're doing the live Saturday edition of the program. So you're invited. If you want to join us, you can take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. We're talking generally about the crackdown on parties that have been happening. People have been arrested in various different places, most recently out in California for throwing house parties with hundreds of attendees. Of course, there have been Sturgis. The bike festival happened recently with hundreds of thousands of attendees.
250,000.
Yeah, I read the numbers on infections, and I can't say what's related to Sturgis, but I remember that like 600 and something people who are residents of Sturgis, in many cases government employees because they were mandated, except for EMS workers, don't ask me, were tested and 23 came up positive. So it doesn't seem like it was too much of a super spreader event. But, what do I know?
Yeah, so we're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The right to assemble being continually infringed upon in the COVID days.
Well,
here.
and this just seems like more of their crackdown on entertainment. And I'm very, very surprised that being California is the entertainment hub as far as content creation, movies, television shows.
Sure, but it's institutionalized entertainment that's sort of pre-approved and delivered to you on pre-approved systems. So you go ahead and make your own entertainment. That's a problem.
But they've still stopped producing content to some extent.
A lot of it, yeah.
Right, like the videos or the television programs, movies that were in process had to be finished either through CGI or some sort of new method of not having people together frequently to finish shooting the scenes. There's a bunch of stuff that was in the works that has now been postponed indefinitely, right? So
I blame Carol Baskins.
Well, yeah.
We can continue, guys. So we're going to the phones first, though. We got Alex. He's in Myrtle Beach listening to WRNN on FM. Go ahead, Alex.
Thank you. Yeah, about the mask thing, I obviously live here in Myrtle Beach. Okay. I have to set the stage quickly. All right. My girlfriend is a school teacher, so we have been several months ago watching the numbers, and I wear a mask. My parents, grandparents were Republicans. So I always wear a mask. Now, however, I live here in Myrtle Beach. Now, during the summer, the numbers spiked. They went up. And then the governor of West Virginia saying, well, don't go to Myrtle Beach. And I think someone from Pennsylvania, don't go to Myrtle Beach. But Myrtle Beach, people come here because it's the summer. That's what they do. Now, to get to the point quickly, I wear a mask. I live here. And I ride around. I just been riding around today. And actually, after it first came out, it shut down about 3 months ago. Things got real quiet, slowed down. I'll be honest, people just don't wear a mask here. It's
Thank God.
And the numbers went down. The numbers right now, we watch the numbers, and it's called Horry County.
Hold on. You're saying people aren't wearing masks in Myrtle Beach and numbers are going down. Shocking.
Yes.
Who knew?
Yeah, I think some people have done some comparisons showing areas with and without masks, and that it basically means nothing.
Yeah, this is Myrtle Beach. People come here you really think someone's going to drive to Myrtle Beach? It's something called the Redneck Riviera. Whatever. But anyway, you people come to Myrtle Beach during the summertime, and I got here, and I'll be honest, people just don't wear a mask, and it did spike the number. I'm talking percentages. I'm not a mathematician. However, I did in college, took some college algebra and calculus. That I kind of looked at everybody. People just weren't wearing masks. People were freaking out. Oh my God, there's 4 people not wearing a mask on the beach.
Yeah, they were doing that in Florida. Some lawyer put on a death's cloak and had a sickle and was wandering around the beach, basically warning people that they're killing grandma. They're going to die and whatever. And, I know that
ridiculous.
Florida had an increase of cases at some point, but I doubt it had anything to do with the beach. Like, if you're out in the sunlight, outside near salt water, I couldn't imagine a place that is more healthy.
Alex, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate your perspective from there in Myrtle Beach. Let's
Sun
continue.
poisoning, maybe.
We've got Dan. He's on the line in California. Dan, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Well, mine kind of isn't about the mask thing, which is a big bunch of phony baloney to me, too. My thing is about this. I filed lawsuits to open up the Williamson Act Timber Production Zone gates around McLeod, California. They adopted this Williamson Act where the public is paying the property owner's taxes in trade for open space, which is hunting, fishing, camping, and other outdoor pursuits. And I filed they threw my cases out, and I filed against the county for what they did. And,
so let me just follow you here. You're saying that this act is essentially a subsidy for people who are willing to open up their land, and that covers their property taxes for them if they open it up to various different outdoor activities?
Yes, and I also I have their conservation easement. It's a conservation easement.
And is it that you want to overturn this program and make it so these people have to pay taxes on the land that they they're letting people use?
Or open the gates.
What gates?
They got it all locked down. They gave me a criminal trespassing ticket on it.
Oh, okay. So they locked it down after COVID, is what you're saying?
No. It's before COVID.
Okay.
What'd they lock it down for?
So what you're saying is these people are getting subsidies,
a tax break,
to supposedly open their land, but they're not opening the land?
Yes, and I filed against them in the court, and the courts illegally made me and my Vietnam veteran war hero Jim Troopman refile our cause of action every time we came back to court, and had skilled technician attorneys throw our cases out because we were doing what they told us, changing that. And now they've false arrested me when I went to court because I turned them into the IRS for conspiring with these large property owners.
Wow, it sounds like you've definitely stumbled across yet another scam. And thank you for the call tonight, Dan, involving government and their cronies. People who are connected with these government goons get all kinds of benefits, and everybody else gets screwed. You're supposed to open their land up. They're supposed to open their land. They get tax breaks for doing that, and now they're not opening the land, and they're still getting the tax breaks. So that's quite a scam.
So
thanks, Dan.
The program itself sounds like a good thing.
It sounds like a good idea.
Right.
Yeah, if they open the land.
If you're going to let people, camp, hunt, and fish and whatever on your land, then in exchange you don't have to pay property taxes on that land. That sounds like a good deal to me. I understand some people want people to pay more taxes. That way they have to pay less. But, that is a service, and they're not going to do it if they don't get some kind of compensation for it. Because, reasons. So you got to give them something for it. So that sounds like a good thing. However, if it's some kind of conspiracy in order to just get a tax break and not provide those services, that's a different story.
Yeah. Let's continue. Robert's in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Robert, go ahead.
Okay, I have about three different things. I'll start with the first one. In Germany, if you come from a foreign country and the laws are different, and you break the law, not realizing that the laws are different than they are in your home country, in Germany than they are in your home country, there's a provision in the law where they won't prosecute you. It happened with somebody who came from, I think, some little country like Benin or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but some little country in Africa where the telephone service at that time was free, actually. So anyhow, he came to Germany and ran up a huge telephone bill, calling mostly to Africa. And in any case, the police actually arrested him. They didn't know about that provision in the law, because it's used very, very, very rarely, because most people don't even know about it. And so anyhow, he came into court, and his attorney used that provision in the law, and he was just found innocent and released. They were in shock. But I think the other part of it, Germany is very, very considerate and thoughtful. On the other hand,
at times they haven't been, but that sounds like a decent.
Those times are done.
Yeah, that sounds like a decent little excuse for, I think, a lot of people. I would like for more people to find out about that.
Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it. Maybe a lot of people will go to Germany and start doing things like that. But on the other hand,
they're going to have to prove that they didn't have to pay for phone bills where they came from. They have to prove ignorance, and that's going to be a little more difficult for most people listening.
Thank you for the call tonight, Robert.
I don't know. I find most people ignorant.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. Van Morrison apparently is on the attack against lockdowns.
Brown-eyed girls? Him and his brown-eyed girl.
We will get into that coming up here in moments. Captain, you've got the story, and you can, of course, take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever's on your mind. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
Attention radio listeners. Have you ever wanted to be independent of the utility companies and actually generate your own supply of off-grid electrical power? If so, this is going to be the most important message you'll ever hear. Here's why. A limited number of solar-powered backup generators are back in stock and now available. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical power when you need it most. And unlike gas generators, a solar generator runs quietly, emits no fumes, and produces an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. It's like having an electric power plant running silently, secretly in your own home. Run sump pumps, shortwave radios, computers, even keep food from spoiling. Go to mysolarbackup.com to learn more. That's mysolarbackup.com. Supplies are still limited and are available on a first-come, first-served basis only. mysolarbackup.com.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MechTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Free Talk Live.
I was a pedestrian and an asinine cop backed up and hit me and knocked me down to the ground. And I said, I think we need to call the police as I'm, screaming in pain. And he said, go ahead, I'm a cop too.